Yo, what's up, guys? This is Nick Sisson here on behalf of the Sportsbook, and I do a sports betting show daily. Huge Blazer fan, if you can't tell. Just got done watching the Blazers get clapped by the San Antonio Spurs, 125-104. And I'm just here to do a little post-game commentary. I'm really frustrated, and I just wanted to get this out there. The NBA is not set up right now for the Blazers to be successful. You've got a lot of top-heavy teams with the Lakers and now the Nets. Clippers are still in the mix. The Blazers have got no chance with this team currently constructed the way it is to win a championship. It's time in my mind to sell as much as you've got outside of Damian Lillard. Try to get as much draft capital as possible. Do what you can to lose as many games as you can. The 15th spot in the West is wide open this year for the Blazers because the competitive balance in the NBA, like teams, 6 through 30 isn't too bad. But, 1 through 5 is where, everybody knows those teams are going to be there at the end. Right now, the Blazers have got nothing to do but try to improve for next season and beyond. I think it's time for some major changes. I don't know what those major changes entail, if it means moving all the players or if it means moving the coach. We've done the GM carousel already once with Stotts as the head coach. I don't know if he's, a bad coach. I think he is what he is. I don't think he's going to do anything better than get your team to maybe the 5th or the 4th spot at best with a fully healthy roster. Outside of the injuries with Nurkic and McCollum, we've seen the team healthy, and I wasn't blown away with what I saw, to be completely honest. I still think Nurkic is a weak spot at the center position if you're truly trying to contend. He gets beat on by, as I mentioned before, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, Jokic has his way with him. I get he has a vendetta against the Nuggets, but back to this game here. The Spurs score 125. You brought in Robert Covington and Derek Jones Jr. for defense. It's laughable right now. I think the Blazers are giving up like 115 a game. You can't win basketball giving up 115 points a game. And I don't want to hear any other Blazer fans out there telling me to be patient, let them gel. We're 14 games in. It's almost a quarter of the way through the season. I've seen all I need to see. It's either the coaching schematically or the effort. Because you don't let the Spurs come out and score 125 when you know you're crippled offensively. When you know that there's no McCollum. When you know you've got no real post threats. Outside of Carmelo Anthony being able to get down to the block for about 16 feet in his patented turn-away fadeaway, I don't think that they got any real strong post-up options. Cantor's decent, but he is what he is. He's supposed to be a guy who comes off the bench who gets you some solid minutes with some boards, and I just don't see how the Blazers constructed currently could even contend if they're healthy. Right now, they've got nothing but a logjam at the wing position with Covington and Hood and I guess Derek Jones Jr. and Anthony. It's just not set up well. So I guess the GM to me can be to blame. I really think it's time for wholesale changes, though. I don't know what that does for Lillard and his confidence and his happiness. But at this point, I'm not in it for Damian Lillard's happiness. I'm in it for championship results. I'm not saying that the NBA is wide open for the Blazers to have a chance to win this season. I don't think it's set up for many teams to win at all, which is really stupid if you think about it. There's really no shot for anybody outside of the Lakers, the Clippers, the Nets, the Celtics. I'm probably missing somebody, but the Bucks, I guess, if you consider them in that echelon of teams. That's about it. So if you're the Blazers and you're a fan of the Blazers like I am, what would you like to see happen? Would you like to see a player or 2 or 3 moved? Would you like to see the coach gone? Would you like to see the general manager gone? I personally would lean more towards the players. I think that it's high time to get what you can from McCollum and try to get back something that helps your back to the basket game down low on offense as well as some solid defense at the center position. You don't need your center position to do a ton of scoring in the NBA. I mean, look at Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's nothing but, defense and block shots and rebounds. So there's a place for a good center in this league. Yusuf Nurkic doesn't have the strong points that I look for in a center. He's not super tough. As a matter of fact, he's really frail and fragile. He doesn't have a ton of durability. He doesn't have a great jump shot. He's really not a great pick and roll guy. I mean, he can have some success, I guess, rolling to the basket if he gets the ball, timely. But from what I've seen so far, I know he's young, but I don't think Yusuf Nurkic is going to be the guy that takes you to the next level. You're not winning the championship with him as your starting center in this league. I'm sorry. I know shooters shoot, and I know there's a lot of shooters in the league, but the Golden State model is just that. It's just the Golden State model. When you got Curry and you got Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, even before Durant, Iguodala, they had a squad of shooters that was just unmatchable, unseen. So, I mean, tips to them. But right now, the Blazers have to seriously look at the way that teams are structured in the conference that they play in. And they're front court heavy. I mean, the Lakers are going to kill everybody down low. They got James, they got Davis, they got Montrezl Harrell, they got Marc Gasol, seasoned veteran who can hit a jump shot every now and then. There's just a lot of problems with the way that the team's constructed. And if you're not getting the defense that you bought into with bringing in Jones Jr. and Covington, you have to seriously look at the acquisitions that you made and either cut bait right now. I know, maybe I'm overreacting, but I think that most fans who have watched the Blazers for a long time like me, I've seen this before. I mean, they had a chance to in my mind, get to the finals. They had every opportunity in the games that they played against the Warriors. They were up in almost every one of them. They ended up getting swept. I think that's about the tip. I mean, the winning against the Nuggets in the semis was, I think, the ceiling for the way that the team was structured and the way it's currently structured now. You got a bunch of unproven young guys in Simons, Nas Little, Harry Giles III. There's just nothing that makes me super excited about development, either of talent on the roster. So I think it's time for wholesale changes. Please let me know what you guys think. Again, I'm just looking at the results here. 125 given up to the Spurs. I mean, you lost by 21 points at home. You cannot win this game unless you realistically hold the Spurs under 103, 102 points. You got to play below your averages. If you can't score, you've got to figure out a way to button up defensively. Either the coach isn't relaying that, not setting his guys up in a good position. They got outboarded 48-34. I mean, I know that they're lacking some size with Nurkic out right now. I know that Collins might get back as well. But I haven't even liked what I've seen out of Zach Collins. I just haven't seen him hit on a bunch of talent right now. So anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in on the Blazers chat. Not sure about where we go from here other than I think it's just time to move on. Real quick, I wanted to transition, even though I'm not wearing my Seahawks gear. I also love the Seahawks, live here in the Northwest, obviously. Seahawks are making some changes right now at the offensive coordinator position. They just let go Brian Schottenheimer last week, as we mentioned on the cast last week. I really, really like the connections that I've heard for the offensive coordinator position. I've heard Anthony Lynn. I've heard Doug Peterson. I've heard Mike Kafka, even Adam Gase. These are just former head coaches. Being that former head coaches might be in the mix for getting the job, that bodes really well for the Seahawks. That bodes really well for Russell Wilson. It bodes well for leadership. You want a guy that's commanded the ship. I like young up-and-coming guys, right? But I don't think a young up-and-coming guy is what we need with Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's 30 now, basically, and it's time for him to get somebody who is a guru offensively, who can put him in a really, really good position to read defenses, set his guys up at the line of scrimmage for success, not have to rely on the run around and playground football, chalk it up type thing. I love playground football. I love watching Russ make plays every single time he takes the field. I just saw this last season that he's lost a step on shaking guys and getting away and keeping things together. He needs a guy that's kind of like Sean Payton-ish, who worked with somebody like Drew Brees, who's a little bit smaller, can't see over the line of scrimmage as well. Designed a lot of quick passing, a lot of rollouts, a lot of screens, mixed in the running game very well. Obviously, you're not getting Sean Payton. He's the head coach of the New Orleans Saints. However, if you look at what Doug Peterson did with the Eagles, coming from Andy Reid tree, he looks like a guy who is creative as well as respectable. The only thing that's not respectable about him is the results of the Eagles and the Washington football team game, on Sunday night where they clearly threw the game. Really made it tough for his players to trust him and to play for him, which is why he had to go. However, given a better circumstance, I think Doug Peterson would be my favorite if I were to want one of the named offensive coordinator candidates. I absolutely do not want Adam Gase. Stay the hell away from Adam Gase. The guy's got the Dolphins blueprints written on him that he, tore down. Brian Flores has worked hard to build back up. And then he just tore down the Jets. Now you got Robert Saleh going to the Jets, see what he can do with them. But I don't think Adam Gase is a guy that I want anywhere near the Seahawks, especially since Jamal Adams is in the locker room. Jamal Adams left New York because of Adam Gase. Says he's terrible with players' relationship. So I'm not down with Adam Gase. Anthony Lynn, however, I would be very, very happy with. Anthony Lynn seems to have the right demeanor to command respect from the guys that play for him. And I think he'd have a great relationship with Russell Wilson personally. If you look at what he did with Justin Herbert was a rookie who came in and threw 30-plus touchdown passes, which was an NFL rookie record. So I don't think that Anthony Lynn is necessarily a bad coach. I think he had a lot of bad luck with injuries on his defense. He had a lot of players. I thought the Chargers drafted pretty well. I really expect the Chargers to bounce back in a big way next year. I think the Chargers, with given, a different head coach, I don't know who's going in there. If they get a seasoned head coach that can work better with Herbert than what Anthony Lynn did, and I don't even know if anybody can. I think Lynn did a great job. So again, Doug Peterson, Anthony Lynn, I'm all about that. Anybody who's worked with Patrick Mahomes in the quarterback room, talking to Mike Kafka of the Kansas City Chiefs, I'm also interested in talking to you as well. These are all guys that are on the list for the job. What say you, Seahawk fans? If you had an option for any one of those offensive coordinators, who would be your top choice? Or is there somebody that I haven't mentioned or hasn't been linked to that you'd like to see us maybe go out and see if we can snag for an offensive coordinator? I like the way that the Hawks have been built previously with the running game and the defense. I think that they're close on some of the defensive parts with Jamal Adams and Quadre Diggs at the safety position, but I think they're still far away at the corner position and the defensive line ultimately. So it's a good time right now to rebuild your offensive line, stack all of your assets into figuring out a way to protect your quarterback, because forming a pocket doesn't seem to be something that the Seahawks offensive line is capable of. Schematically, I'm not sure if that's a Schottenheimer thing. His dad, seemed to have a good job of forming pockets and winning regular season games. However, that's what got, Brian Schottenheimer fired. He had no creativity, and it didn't look like that he knew how to adjust in game to the way defenses were ultimately adjusting to him. So, yeah, I'm all in on the Doug Peterson, Anthony Lynn train. Again, I'd love to get your guys' feedback on that. We're going to get the guys together again coming up this Wednesday. We're going to do another stream on the YouTube channel. See if we could get it up on the website as well. We also have this weekend coming up the UFC 257, Dustin Poirier against Conor McGregor 2. We will definitely have some insight and our picks for that coming up on Wednesday night. My early inclination is Conor McGregor's coming for a finish. Either he's finishing Dustin or he's getting finished. I don't want to spoil it for the guys who might be buying it on pay-per-view, if you do that kind of thing. I think it's going to be an early finish for one of them. I don't see it going past the first round. First, maybe second round, I guess. I just think that with what Khabib said, and if you haven't heard, apparently Khabib has said to Dana that if one of them does something spectacular, that he might be forced to come out and fight him. He's clearly scared of Charles Oliveira and doesn't want any part of him, because Oliveira has already done what he needs to do to get a title shot, in my opinion. Neither here nor there. That's not a money fight. McGregor is a money fight. Poirier winning this fight in spectacular fashion, he's already fought Khabib and lost, though. And so did Conor, but again, I'm just looking at what's best for the industry and what's best for the fans. And honestly, what's best for the fans is McGregor Khabib 2. It's by far the best option. They generally don't like each other. There's a lot of disdain. There's been a lot of trash talk, a lot of incidences. I think a lot of people really don't respect Khabib and how he handles his business as a fighter, I think a lot of the other fighters don't respect him and how he handles his business. He holds up the division. He widely sidesteps all the guys that are put in front of him that are considered to be real threats. I'm not saying that Justin Gaethje wasn't a real threat, but his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on the ground last night didn't look very good. So anyway, we'll get into some UFC talk with the guys here coming up. This has been the Sportsbook with N2 from zbookies.com. Again, check us out on the YouTube channel. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Catch you here tomorrow.